welcome to this edition of Plumbing Solutions Educational Series. In this episode, I want to talk about our little sewer jetter. Now, this is a piece of equipment that we do use in the field a lot, so she is a little dirty. She does get used, like I said. This is our 758 pull-behind Spartan jetter. It's used for cleaning out sewers, storm drains, various different things you can do with it. Basically what it does is it's a giant pressure washer, and it can ramp up to about 3,200 psi, which is pretty substantial. But it's got a jetting hose which you put tips on, like this one. This one's called our diamond head. We're going to get into these later on in the episode. This one here is a warthog head. It spins as it goes. But first of all, what we need to talk about is your pre-trip inspection. So we're going to jump right into that. Before we even hit the road with this thing, we're going to have to learn a few things. Alright, well, before you get going, you're going to have to hook this thing to the back of a truck. And if you've never used a trailer before, it might be a little confusing. But you've got a couple parts here. You've got your trailer hitch. This is the coupling, this is your hitch. You got some safety chains. And you got your brake light plug. And you've got your little wheel jack here. Now my trailer's rolled back a little far, but I got to get that to there and crank down on this handle. So here we go. Not too difficult. And you're going to lock this thing down once you get this wheel up off the ground. Go ahead and get this wheel moving. It's got a little pin here. You pull that pin, slide that wheel up so it's out of the way. Next thing you want to do is your safety chains. Now safety chains are always kind of long, so you're going to want to twist them. You're going to want to kink them up a little bit. Keep them up off the ground. And they'll hook in up under here. Not like the old trucks, they were a little bit easier. But you got to find the slots, hook them in. There's your safety chains. Next thing you're going to do is plug in your brake lights. It's only going to go in there one way. Plug it right on in. Most trucks come equipped with the trailer light attachment nowadays. But you're pretty much ready to roll. I would, however, recommend if there's a lock on this, if there's a bolt or a nut, go ahead and put that through there in case you hit a bad bounce. You might throw that up, and it's happened before. So that's how to hook it up. And there's a couple of things you're going to want to do here before you even leave the shop, because there's no sense in driving an hour and a half away, getting to your destination, and something's wrong. First thing, before you even leave the shop, got a little dipstick right here. You're going to want to check that oil. Go ahead and get your rag, wipe it off. If you're not familiar with checking oil, this will show you right here. Wipe the stick off, put it back down in there, pull that thing out, and she is full. She is completely full of oil, and that oil looks good too. Alright, the next thing you're going to want to check, this little old motor here, she is liquid cooled. So she has a radiator right here. There's a little yellow cap. Give that about a quarter turn. Look down in there. She's full of a nice green liquid we call antifreeze. We're ready to go here. Make sure you put that cap back on, put it back on tight. This stuff's not going to need to be filled all the time. If you're using it every day, day after day, you could probably skip some of this. But if this thing's been sitting here and nobody's touched it in weeks, check the oil, check the antifreeze. Don't want anything to happen to it. Next thing you're going to do, close this guy back up. This thing runs off gas. It has a fuel tank over here. You're going to come over here, take the cap off, look down, make sure you got gas. This thing is slam full of gas. Make sure that cap goes back on good and tight. And you're good as far as the engine goes. You're ready to roll. Let's go load her up with some water. Okay, let's just say we got to our job site First thing we're going to do is we're going to find some water, because you're not going to want to tow this thing full of water. It specifically says in the owner's manual, do not tow this thing down the road with water in it. You got to remember, water weighs about 8 pounds a gallon. This thing's got a 200-gallon tank on it. So 1,600 pounds on these little trailer tires, don't do it. So we get to our job site. The black hose on this side is your filler hose. It looks just like a garden hose. It's got a little thing to help keep it together here. You're going to unscrew that. There's a little pin you pull over here and give it a half a turn to lock it out, and your wheel will spin. So you're going to just walk this on out to your nearest source, screw it into the spigot, turn it on, let this thing fill up. Now's a good time to take a break, because it is going to take a while, and this thing does have a sensor on it. If you don't have enough water in it, it's going to shut down on you. So let's go fill it up. While my tank is filling up with water here, like I said, it does take a few minutes to do it. So you're going to be having some time to stand around and prep. I'm going to use this time to talk about some of the heads we have for this thing and some of the other accessories. Let's start with heads. The first one I want to talk about, this one's called the grenade head. And that's kind of because of what it looks like, but it's got all of its jets spraying backwards. It's these little high pressure jets. You're working at about 3,000 PSI with this guy. No water coming out the front. You can see it's kind of scratched up. I am going to hook these guys up later toward the end here, and we're going to spray some water, see what they do. But this one is designed to go down for a clog and just hit it, just hammer it as hard as it can. It's not really designed for cleaning. It's designed to go in there and knock whatever's in there out. That's why they call it the grenade. This one's going to travel really fast. All the water's blowing back, no water blowing forward. The next one I got in my box here, we call this one the diamond. Now this one also has a small array of heads blowing backwards. All of these heads are going to propel themselves. You just kind of got to hang on to the hose, keep it from kinking, and just keep feeding it. It's got a bunch of them that face backwards, and then it's got 4 big ones that go forward. One that shoots straight ahead, and then 3 on each side of the diamond here. This one's going to be kind of after you get the clog out, blasting grease, whatever. You can use this for cleaning clogs. This one probably has been the most used out of all of our heads here. The next one I've got in my box here, which is my favorite. This one is for cleaning, but this one is also for cutting roots. This thing can cut a 2-inch root in about a minute and a half. It's really powerful, and if I had a method to set up where I could show you what this thing can do to a piece of wood, it's pretty impressive. But this one spins. It's got 2 big main jets at an angle on the back of it, which gives it that forward thrust and that spin. It is on a swivel, so it does turn, and then it's got a jet poking out of the front of it. This one is going to be for cutting, and this one works really well for cleaning. A lot of times when we do storm drain stuff that's clogged with a bunch of dirt and stuff, you run this one up backwards, and it pulls that mud and dirt down with it. My favorite head that we have in our bunch here, I use that one a lot. The next thing we got, well, this one looks just like an air chuck coupler, but it's going to hook onto the end of your hose there. Now what this is for some of the next stuff I've got. It's going to clip on to the end of here. Gives you a little more versatility. This little guy here, we call this a hand reel, and this is a foot pedal. This is for when you can't take the machine inside of a building, and you don't want to be dragging a hose all around. You got the smaller one here. Now this one's made together. You can't take the head off. It's got 4 jets back and 1 going forward. This is for like floor drains, like in a fast food restaurant or something like that. not going a long distance. You're just trying to get in there and clean those traps out and get some of the grease. It is on a crank hand reel. It's pretty light, pretty easy to carry, and it works with this foot pedal. So you hook the foot pedal up, you carry this inside, and you can work your machine from right there. You can go ahead and throttle it up, turn it on out here, and use your foot pedal to work this device. Now the next one we have is a bigger reel. This one's got a lot more hose on it. You're going to go a lot farther, and you're going to use the heads I talked about first. Now this one does have a ball valve on it, and you can work it with that ball valve, or you could hook it up with the foot pedal and kind of use both of them if you want to. The next one here, scoot over. This one's just kind of a hand line. And now this one is made together. It's got a really small tip, little mushroom tip on it. It primarily sprays backwards. This is a pretty stout leader hose. It can be worked with the foot pedal. I haven't really used this one a whole lot, but this is for small drains. And if you think you're gonna get your hose snagged on something, because this hose is a lot harder and a lot less flexible than the one that's on here. The next thing I have here, and I think this one's really neat, this one's called a Ventura. Now this one's actually a pump. It's got a little jet deep down inside of there. You hook your jetter hose onto here, and what it does is it blows water back up this head. You drop this head down and say, out a pit or something that's been flooded with water, something you got to pump out. It's not really for sewage or anything like that, but some gray water, just for pumping something out. There's a big suction hose here you'd hook to the end of that, and then on the end of that you got your little flex drain hose. This is a pretty neat thing. It uses the water pressure to blow through the Ventura to pump that water out. Really neat thing. But that's about it for the accessories, and I think we're about 200 gallons, so let's clean up a little bit and let's crank this thing up. Cranking up the jetter. All right, first off, you know you got that sensor in that tank, so you got to be full of water or at least above that sensor. Go ahead and be at least halfway up. You're gonna need a key. There is an off position and then a run position. Put it in the run position. There's a red button here. You're gonna push that button in. If that button doesn't stay in, you don't have enough water in your tank. But the button should stay down. The next thing down here, you've got a throttle, which is this T-handle piece here. That you would pull out the throttle up, push in the throttle down. It locks. It says on there's some arrows so you can lock your throttle out. But to get her going, you got your choke. You're gonna have to choke it the first go around. Go ahead and pull that choke out. You're in the run position here. You've got the button pushed down. It stayed down. And we're gonna go ahead and crank her. She's gonna get a little loud, but I think we can handle it. Not too bad. You gotta push that choke in. You'll hear it starting to die. Push that choke in. Let it go ahead and warm up. That's how you get her running. All right, operating your 758 tow behind Spartan jetter. I've got her throttled up right now. She's reading close to 3 grand on the gauge here. That's going to drop a little bit when I turn it on, but it is operated by a ball valve. It's just sitting here idling right now, and this handle is all the way down and pointed straight out at you. It's off. To turn it on, you're going to push up on it. Now go slow with this. Watch for leaks. Make sure things are safe. All the way up. Just throwing a little bit of mist out because I got it hooked to the tower right now. But that's basically it. You do have your throttle over there. Pull that out, turn it, lock it. You'll get some more RPMs. Watch that gauge, it'll come on up. Turn it on. Back here behind me, I have this tower that I built. It's a special lot safer than your old cable drum machines. We still have those, we still use those, but this is really great because it does use water and it does clean, and there are additives you can put in this. We have a Throttle, which is a citrus style cleaner, and that does help as like a degreaser, and it is a detergent, and it can really clean some stuff out. And this, using high pressure water, it doesn't harm your PVC, it doesn't harm your cast iron or anything like that. It's just going down in there, washing out that gunk and keeping you running. Alright, I'm going to get some close-ups here of what this thing actually did to my wooden post back here. I think it's pretty impressive. I got a glance at it. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. This post was painted orange, but as you can see, the two holes there are from the diamond head, and that circular arc pattern there is what the warthog head did to my post. So you're done, and now it's time to pack up. Well, your jetter hose has an auto reel here. It's really neat, but I don't recommend using the auto reel to retrieve this from the sewer you've just been working in, because it can get caught on things, it can bend it, it can kink it. The best thing for this, drag it out straight, as straight behind this machine as you can. This auto reel does move pretty fast. Remember where you've been working, this thing has been in a sewer. A lot of times you've been washing it so much, there's soap, this thing is clean. You don't really have to worry about it, but whenever I reel this thing in, I always take a rag. And whenever dealing with sewer stuff, you should wear your rubber gloves to protect yourself. But in this demonstration, there was nothing like that. I was just using water, so there wasn't much. But I take that rag and reach down here and push this hose in, and like I said, it's gonna move pretty quick. That's it. It goes back down in this little hole, just like that. Secure security lever. I don't know how quite the glass. A couple little holes, lock it into holes. Now on the other side, your fill hose. This is a regular garden hose. They weren't that nice to you on this side. It's a hand crank, but you've only got maybe 50 to 100 feet of this hose versus 350 feet of your jetter hose. And try to be nice and neat, feed it back on there. Remember, take care of your equipment, it'll take care of you. Screw that back down on that fit. Pull your pin, turn it 180 degrees, find a little hole, lock it in place. Alright, we are locked out. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to drain this thing down. There's a series of ball valves up here on the front. One of them is open straight to the outside. Here's the little ball valve to drain the tank. Some people use their foot to just kind of kick this down. I don't like that because you can tear up the rubber sleeve that's on this that protects it. But it's real easy. You just turn it, let it start draining. You got it open like that, you're ready to roll. Head on down the road. It'll drain itself out as you go. Well, that's going to do it for this episode on the Spartan 758 pull-behind jetter. This is a really neat piece of equipment. We've used it a lot. It's made us some money. I really enjoyed putting this one together. Of course, I like spraying water all over the place. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was educational, and we'll see you in the next one.